One of the craziest pieces of advice I got from an investor right after I raised my seed round was this. He said, sit down and create your Series A pitch deck. Now, mind you, we had just gotten the money in the bank. We haven't done anything with it yet. And we had just gotten done fundraising. So the last thing I wanted to do was think about another pitch deck. But the advice was totally right. He said, if you sit down and think about what your Series A pitch deck is going to look like, what the story you need to tell is, then it'll help you better prioritize what you need to do next, how to spend the seed money, what to prioritize, what to go after, and that'll help you actually put a goal on what that Series A pitch looks like and story looks like. So having raised over $20 million in venture capital, having actually followed that advice, in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 12 slides that you absolutely need in your pitch deck. So if you've just raised a seed round and you actually are thinking about what to do next, build out this 12-slide pitch deck. Or if you're thinking about raising a seed round or the next round, whatever it may be, here are the 12 slides you absolutely need to use. So I'm going to walk you through them. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you navigate the path to the next stage of growth faster with an unstoppable strategy. So if you are new to the channel, I drop a video like this every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday with the TK energy. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you get notified. If you're already part of the community, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, welcome back. It's really great to see you here. So having raised over $20 million in venture capital, having gone through the pitch deck formation process multiple times, in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 12 slides that you absolutely must have in your pitch deck and the reason why. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button for that YouTube algorithm, and let's get right into it. So generally speaking, if you're going in to pitch an investor, you're going to get 30 minutes to an hour, right? If this is a first conversation, you're going to have 30 minutes and probably not a lot more. And so you're going to have to budget your time appropriately so you get more meetings. Very rarely do they make a decision on just the first meeting. They'll probably want to follow on meetings, so you'll want to budget accordingly. But when it comes to your pitch deck, regardless of whether this is the first meeting or second meeting, you need all these core components. And depending on which stage you're in, you'll actually probably pull out certain slides and focus on those. You may actually not get to all the slides, and that's okay, but you'll at least have everything ready. You'll have the story fully prepared. So I'm going to dig into exactly which slides you need to have and why, and we're going to make sure that you have a pitch deck that's ready for battle. Now, the first thing you're going to have is generally an intro slide. The intro slide is basically like, look, we're company X, here's our cool logo, and thanks for having us. Like, that's it. You don't want to go too much in the intro slide. You're not trying to be a visionary or anything. You're just looking to be like, look, welcome to the party, right? The second slide is really where you start the pitch, which is what is your problem and what is your solution and what is your one-liner. Every startup generally has a one-liner. For example, for us, we were a sales platform, right? We were a sales engagement platform. And so in the earliest days, before we really figured out our market segmentation, we were email for salespeople. That's it. We made sure that salespeople were more productive. And over time, by the time we raised our Series B and we were looking at raising our Series C, we were creating our M&A deck, we essentially were an email productivity platform for salespeople. Right? And so every startup has some form of a one-liner. And so what you really want to figure out is what is that one-liner that you have for your SaaS business and how do you articulate that around here's a problem and we are this, like we solved the problem, just having that one-liner. Once you've done that, then you get into slide number 3. Slide number 3 is you've made some sort of a statement around a problem that exists and you have a solution, but you can't assume that the investor believes you. They might be like, well, is that a problem? How big of a problem is that? This is where you generally want to have some sort of a story and a macro trend that really validates the problem you just cited. So we can go in and we can say, look, salespeople have to use 50 different tools, they're unproductive, and they need to touch a lead 7 to 8 times to turn it into an opportunity, and they have manual tools to do it, and it doesn't really work very well, right? And so we're a sales engagement platform that helps them do that effectively. Now, the investor, if they've never managed an enterprise sales team, will be like, well, is that true? Like, I don't know, that seems like a lot and that seems really broken. Like, why is that a thing? So you essentially have to cite a macro trend. So we always had a macro trend that said, look, salespeople spend 80% of their time on data entry that they don't want to be doing. And it takes 7 to 9 touches to turn a lead into an opportunity. These are big macro trends that exist that highlights the problem that salespeople face. And that's why they need a productivity suite. That's why they need an engagement platform. And so the third slide you really want to get into is, all right, I just told you there's a problem, but let me prove it to you. Here's the problem. Here's how big it is. Here's what the market looks like. And after that, you essentially say, okay, cool. Hopefully they believe the problem and they believe you and it's compelling enough. Then you get into the solution. It's like, look, this problem exists. Here's the proof around it. Here's what we do. What is an email productivity platform for salespeople? What is a sales engagement platform? Let us show you. This is exactly what we do in one slide. And you usually have some sort of a money shot on this, and you kind of list out like, here are the things that we do. So this essentially is kind of the first stage of every pitch, which is you're kind of laying the table, you're setting the table on what the opportunity is. Now, at this point, either the investor is going to be leaning in or they're going to be leaning back, right? If they're leaning back, that means they're not convinced on the problem. They don't believe that it's a real problem. They don't believe it's a big enough market. They don't believe you, whatever it may be. They're kind of like, I don't know if this is a thing. Like maybe they don't even invest in SaaS businesses. Whatever it is, within these 4 slides, you're going to get a gauge for if they're like leaning in on like, oh my God, this is a real problem. You have a real solution. This is awesome. Tell me more. Is this even real? Or they're kind of like, I don't know, not interested. You're going to have to gauge that and kind of drive that conversation accordingly based on that. All right, so that's the first phase. Once you've done that, then really you're going into the second phase of the meeting, which is what are the proof points, right? You've told me a bunch of stuff. There's this massive opportunity. Show me the money. Like, what are the proof points that you really, really have? And really, this is where you get into your traction slide. A lot of people try to do the demo, and then they're going to give you the business model. They're going to do all this other stuff. But really, as an investor, all I'm thinking about is like, is this real? Is this guy or gal for real? Do they have a real product? Are there real users? Is there real money in this business? Or is this all theoretical? That's all I'm thinking about. And so one thing that we always encourage founders to do is just put a traction slide, whether it's the number of users, whether it's dollars that you've generated, whatever it may be, put some sort of a traction slide so that you can prove like, look, we're for real. There's real money involved here. There's real attention involved here. And this is the traction that we're seeing in this problem space that we just highlighted. Are you guys starting to get this? Let me just pause here for a second before I get in the rest of this. Like, let me just pause here. If you're starting to see value in this, on like how to craft this pitch deck and how to approach the meeting and kind of think of it in these 3 phases, if you're getting value, if you're getting this, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, comment below. What are your thoughts on this? Like if you've been in investor meetings, does this resonate? Hit me with a yes. If it doesn't, say no. If you have a question, ask the question, whatever it may be, use that comment thread. All right, now that we've actually talked through that, let's move on to the rest of the slides, all right? So the next slide is once you've kind of shown the opportunity and you said like, hey, we're for real, right? Then jump into a demo. And there's a power in the right type of demo. You don't want to show all the features, but you do want to show the right features and the right flow. That's probably for another video. If you want me to do a video on what a great demo looks like, a demo in the comments and we'll add that to the list. But you want to do the demo next and kind of show them the product so they see and feel like, okay, this is a real thing along with the traction. Once you've done that, then you highlight, look, this is our business model. Now, if you're a SaaS founder, this is easy. We charge money. We charge by the seat or some sort of unit metric. And by the way, if you're trying to figure out your pricing model, be sure to check out this video, which is all about your SaaS pricing strategy. I'll link to it below as well, so you don't have to go right away, but you should definitely check that out because it shows you ways of actually optimizing your pricing model. But you essentially want to highlight your business model. That shows like, hey, we know how to charge people. There's a certain deal size involved. And also here's how it'll grow over time for successful customers. Those are the things that we really want to understand in terms of the business model. Along with this, what you also want to highlight is your go-to-market, right? Along with it, so if you're a SaaS business, like what is your go-to-market? How are you attracting new customers? How did you get this traction, right? How did you get the users? Is it predictable? Is it scalable? Investors will want to understand that to know, okay, they've got an actual go-to-market machine. And this is an important distinction. This is why that investor friend of mine actually told me to create this deck. What it made me realize when I created that deck after doing the seed round and thinking about raising the Series A was it made me realize like, oh my God, we better figure out how to get traction. We better lock in our business model and we better have a scalable go-to-market machine. Because if we can point to those things, then the Series A investor will be like, oh my God, if we put more money into this machine that you've built, then you can grow faster. I'm all in. That's what I realized, and that's what I knew to prioritize. I knew we actually had to prioritize a way to grow our sales. That was a big thing that mattered. And it may sound obvious, but this process helped me really distill like, look, we can do these cool features, we can do that one more feature, we can build that amazing platform, but unless we can prove that this is a real problem through the traction and show the business model, they're not gonna get it, right? And so between our seed round and our Series A, we actually went from just charging $30 a month to actually having a $30 a month plan, a team plan, and also an enterprise plan, and actually closing enterprise deals. And once we got those three things going, our Series A became easy to raise, right? Like it all came together. Okay, so that's why business model and traction is important. That's why it's also important that you focus on these two things if you raise the seed round and are thinking about getting to an A. The next thing you want to highlight is, what is the competition? Like, are there other competitors in the market? Sometimes founders will be inclined to say, we have no competition. Believe it or not, that's actually a red flag. If there's no competition, that means there's something wrong in your market. If you're in a good market, that means there's at least one or two competitors. If you're in a market where there's 100 competitors, then you're also bad. That means like there's no way you're gonna win, right? Having one or two competitors and talking about, look, these are other people going after this. Here's how they approach it. Here's how we approach it. Here are the philosophical differences. Here's our strengths. Like, we're actually better at this one thing. We have deep technology knowledge on this. We have better go-to-market processes around this. That's the kind of conversation you want to actually convey to the investor, because then they'll feel more comfortable that A, you're not in a market of one, because that sucks, and there's probably something wrong with you. And B, you've thought deeply about your competitors and thought about how to differentiate against them. And have already started to think about how you're going to use additional money and the team you've already built to actually win against them. And so that's really important to actually communicate in your broader slide around competition and differentiation. Okay, so by the time you get to this slide, you've covered, well, what is the opportunity and what are the proof points, right? Then you shift into this third phase, which is, what is the future? At this point, hopefully they've asked questions, they've stress tested you. And look, if it's the first meeting, you may not even get to this, or you may run out of time. But if you convince them on the problem and the opportunity being real and the traction being compelling, then they'll ask for another meeting. So never try to rush through all the slides. What matters the most is you actually prove to them that the opportunity is real and the traction is there. And this can easily go into a second meeting if necessary, or more likely, they'll actually go over. Investors, if they're really interested, they'll go over. They'll push the next meeting, unless it's like an LP meeting or something. So don't worry so much about getting through all the slides. What matters the most is you get through these two parts. That's what matters the most. Okay, then once you have that, the next slide you really want to get into is the future, right? Then you want to talk about the vision, right? Once you talked about the competition and your differentiation, that's a great segue to talk about, by the way, we're doing this now. But if we're successful, here's the bigger vision around what we're gonna do. For example, for ToutApp, our big thing was we wanted to be the Bloomberg terminal for salespeople. If you're not familiar with Bloomberg terminal, a Bloomberg terminal costs roughly $20,000 a year. Every single trader in Wall Street, which are essentially in a way salespeople, gets one of them. And they get access to the right data, they get a streamlined workflow, and they can do their jobs effectively. And what we said is like, look, sales teams have to go cobble together all these different things. We want to be the Bloomberg terminal so that end to end, they can run their workflows very effectively. They have access to the data, they can communicate, they can engage, and they can actually track everything automatically. And that was our big vision. And that's the kind of vision that you need to have if you're really going to swing for the fences and raise venture capital. And so you want to actually have a compelling vision of, look, we do this tiny thing now, but over time, here's what we want to become. And this is why it becomes an even greater opportunity. And you have to be able to talk through that vision. After you've done that, the next thing you want to cover is the team. You want to talk about who you are and who the other key players are. Generally speaking, they want to know that you didn't just meet in like some startup weekend, that you actually have deep connections with each other, you have some domain knowledge in what you're doing, and that you're capable, smart people that can be trusted with money. And so you actually want to talk through the team. Now, don't fake it over here. Don't, like, if you're just a team of three, say that you're a team of three and focus on your strengths, right? Don't, like, I've seen founders put in like, oh, and we have these 50 advisors, and this person is a part-time CTO. Don't do that. It makes you look like an amateur. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. Just put the team that's all in on this and your deep domain knowledge and the strengths that you guys have, and then have a conversation around like, look, here's the team right now, and with the next set of fundraising, here's the team. Here's how we want to add to the team. Here's the key hires we want to do, and that's a good conversation to get into with investors on like how they can help as well. So that's team. Once you've done the team, done the vision, then it's the future, right? Then you want to talk about the financials. It's like, look, here's our pro forma, here are the financials, and with the additional funding that we're going to raise, here's how we expect to grow. So this is a little bit about what you've done in the past and connecting the bridge to like, look, once we raise, here's how we expect to grow, given the go-to-market engine that we've built and given the traction that we're seeing and the numbers that we're seeing. We think that we've gotten to a point where you put in more money, we'll be able to hire more salespeople and we'll be able to grow a lot faster because this machine is working in its early stages. That's really the conversation you want to be having. Again, like, I know I'm biased towards go-to-market, but this is why I built out my go-to-market program, because a lot of founders get obsessed around the product and the features. But what matters just as much is your market and go-to-market, and actually thinking about how to build the initial version of that go-to-market machine, so that by the time you get to this slide, you can say, look, we've got the traction. Here's our go-to-market engine. And by the way, when we put in more money, that go-to-market engine is going to scale, and that will allow us to grow even faster. And so you want to be able to tell that story for this pitch deck. Finally, once you've done that piece, then you go in over here and you basically do the summary, milestones, and the ask. What you want to say is like, look, in summary, and kind of cover like, we started, we did these things, we hit this inflection point, and here's where we want to go to next. And based on that, we're raising X million dollars, and we're in the fundraise right now, and this is what we want to do next. And you kind of have to go for the ask there. Be explicit that you're fundraising. And by the way, if you want me to do a video on the black art of fundraising, like what happens before, what to do in a pitch meeting, whether to say you're fundraising or not, hit me in the comments below and tell me you're interested in that, and I'll do that. We have it in the list, but it's not that high. So if you want me to move it higher on the list, let me know. But the whole point here is ask that, like, hey, we're fundraising, and there's a bunch of people we're talking to, and we know that with this go-to-market machine, we'll be able to invest in it. So we want to raise that next round, and we think we can grow a lot faster, and the market opportunity is awesome. Ask for that, but you also want to summarize everything you've done. So that's what that last slide is. All right, this video has gone on for long enough. I think this is a good stopping point. These are the 12, and by the way, here, we'll frame it here. Feel free to take a screenshot, okay? Boom, take a screenshot of this. These are the 12 slides you need to have in your pitch deck. Now, if you are a seed-based founder, you just raised a seed round, create this deck just now. It'll help you clarify your actual priorities over the next 12 to 18 months that you deploy your seed raise. If you are in the middle of it, do it anyway. If you are actually raising for your Series A or a later round, you definitely want these 12 slides. If you have questions, hit me up on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I'm happy to answer questions around your pitch deck. And also, lastly, you're thinking about how to grow your SaaS business, right? If you're operating a SaaS business, you're starting to realize like, look, we gotta get our growth strategy right. I have a free resource for you. Be sure to check out my 5-point startup growth strategy guide. Inside of it, I go into more details on how to create a one-page growth strategy for your SaaS business. It covers on some of the things that you actually have to focus on so that you have a great pitch deck. So be sure to check out that guide. Go to getunstoppable.com/strategy, or just follow the link below, and you can download that guide completely for free, and I'll walk you through all the key aspects of building a one-page growth strategy for your SaaS business. If you got value from this video, be sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It also means the world to me and my team. It's cool to see those. Comment below with any questions you have, any insights that you got. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. I bring you videos like this. This one's longer than most. I try to make them a little bit snappier, but it's a big topic. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK. I'll see you in the next episode. One of the craziest pieces was let's not do this. Let's do this again. I didn't like that intro, so we're gonna redo that. Yeah, let's redo that. I screwed it up. Actually, you know what? It's good. Let's run with it. What is an email productivity product?